Hello and welcome to the channel. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo was not seen at his polling unit yesterday as the governorship and state assembly elections commenced in most parts of the country. This was his first miss when it comes to casting his vote, which has been quite consistent through the years since he started the first democratic dispensation in 1999. Recall that OBJ had spoken out vehemently against the presidential election, so why was the former military head of state conspicuously absent? Subscribe, like, share, and comment. Thank you. Why Obasanjo did not vote first time since 1999. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo was not present to vote at his polling unit 22, Ward 11, Olusumi Compound, Totoro area of Abeokuta North local government area of the state, Ogun State, in Saturday's governorship and state houses of assembly elections. This was the first time when the two times Nigerian leader will not vote in an election since Nigeria returned to democracy in 1999. Obasanjo was Nigeria's first elected president when the country returned to democracy in 1999 from military rule. He was re-elected for another term in 2003. He had previously also served as Nigeria's military president. Obasanjo, who had earlier declared his support for the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, voted in the February 25, 2023 presidential and National Assembly elections. But the journalist who thronged the former president's polling unit to capture him while exercising his franchise during the governorship and House of Assembly elections on Saturday was disappointed as he was nowhere to be found. When contacted, Obasanjo's media aide, Kehinde Akinyemi, confirmed that his boss had traveled out of the country 10 days before the governorship and state assembly elections. Akinyemi, in a phone interview, hinted that Obasanjo was billed to return a day before the elections, but he was yet to arrive. He said, Chief Obasanjo had traveled 10 days ago to India, US, and UK. He was supposed to return back to the country yesterday, Friday, March 17, but could not return. Recall the public reactions that greeted the call by former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo for cancellation of the February 25, 2023 presidential and National Assembly elections in areas where violence was recorded and where the processes were not transparent, were expected. By virtue of his status and huge profile, Obasanjo cannot be ignored ordinarily or treated as just another aggrieved Nigerian. He is influential and seen by many as a role model. Therefore, his public speeches or letters he had written on several occasions to sitting presidents and international agencies have a tendency to attract wide reactions, including criticisms that he had ample opportunities as two-time head of state to correct issues that he complained about, but that he not only wasted such opportunities, he in fact adopted policies that aggravated the issues or set the tone for them. In this regard, a major criticism against Obasanjo is that having openly supported one of the numerous presidential candidates in the last election, his complaint about the process is nothing more than a show of support for his preferred candidate. Obasanjo will have difficulty in dismissing that notion, more so that he failed to garner majority support for that candidate, even in his ward or polling unit in Abeokuta. Recall that on January 1st, Obasanjo openly endorsed the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, as his preferred candidate for the February election. He said, none of the contestants is a saint, but when one compares their character, antecedents, their understanding, knowledge, discipline, and vitality that they can bring to bear and the great efforts required to stay focused on the job, particularly looking at where the country is today, and with the experience on the job that I personally had, Peter Obi as a mentee has an edge. Speaking about journalism in one of his wry, sardonic, and humorous quotes, Mark Twain was reputed to have said, "Get your facts first, then you can distort them as you please." It would seem that Obasanjo, as an elder statesman and former president, was in too much hurry that he could not wait for the conclusion of the 2023 election results collation before he called for the cancellation of parts thereof. Barely 24 hours after the conduct of the presidential and National Assembly elections, Obasanjo called for their cancellation in all violent-prone areas. He made the call in a statement titled 2023 Nigeria Presidential Election, an appeal for caution and rectification, saying that the presidential election failed integrity test. Obasanjo asked the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, to save Nigeria from the looming danger and disaster waiting to happen. Obasanjo also alleged that INEC officials at the operational level had been compromised following the manual transmission of results, which he alleged had been manipulated and doctored. He told President Muhammadu Buhari that tension is building up and please let all elections that do not pass the credibility and transparency test be cancelled and be brought back with areas where elections were disrupted for next Saturday, March 4, 2023, and beavers and server officials be changed. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and please turn the notification bell on. Thank you. For a man of his stature in Nigeria and in international reckoning, a more pensive and nuanced intervention was expected given the possibility of eating up an already tense political environment, and also given that his assertions were not backed with substance and constituted mere allegation. As is well known, even in more advanced democracies, election periods are charged periods when contending forces whip up sentiments to woo the polity to their sides. Obasanjo's intervention was therefore hasty and not measured as expected of him, but that was not the only problem with his call for cancellation mid-count. As pointed out by many commentators, the antecedents of the former president do not lend itself to easy emulation. Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, a former Minister of External Affairs, described Obasanjo as part of the foundation of the problem he purports to solve. The former minister, a foremost political scientist, said he could not take the message and ignore the messenger, and advised Obasanjo to emulate other former leaders of Nigeria like Generals Yakubu Gowon and Abdulsalami Abubakar. You've had your term, you've had your innings, Akiyemi said. That's the news, guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye.